right, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Creeder alongside my beautiful co-host, Guns, as always. And welcome to the fourth, right? Welcome to the fourth installment of
Whatever
Drunken Gun.
installment this is.
Yeah. Of Drunken Gun. Now, if you're new here, this is our podcast where we talk about pretty much whatever we want. Most of the time, we pick a specific topic to talk about, and then we just sit down and talk and drink and have a good time, So if you haven't already, now's a good chance to go ahead and grab your snacks, grab you something to drink, and enjoy the show. So obviously, based on the thumbnail and the title, we're going to be talking about a very heated topic in the gun community, 9mm versus 40. So before this video starts, all of these are based on our opinions. I think that as long as you have a gun to be able to protect yourself, that's all that matters at the end of the day. So if we like one more than you, it doesn't matter. This is just our opinion. As long as you're staying safe out there with your gun every day, that's all that matters. So now that we got all that butthurt stuff out the way, and now hopefully nobody should be butthurt, we can move on to the topic at large. So we're going to start with the 9mm. Actually, before we start that, we're just going to run through quickly why we did this, so that way you can get our perspective, and we'll tell you a story about why we did it right now. So it all started a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, known on a little planet called Earth. Location classified. Anyway, no. So guns. Well,
Actually, it's pronounced ER.
ER.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, basically, long story short, I was going to. I had ordered a macaroni, and for those of you that know what that is, cool. If not, look it up. It's really cool. Accessory you can buy for select pistols. Really cool, really cool. So I was actually going to buy a macaroni, and I went to the local gun store here, and was just looking around. I wanted a 40 because I wanted it for home defense and one shot, one kill, plain and simple. And if it doesn't kill, they're at least down on the ground. So I was pretty dead set on the 40 or 45. So I go into this store, looking through all the different guns. I'm a Glock guy, so pretty dead set on Glock. And looking around, and this guy comes up to me. I don't want to really give his name, so I'm just going to call him Billy Bob. So Billy Bob comes up to me and, asks, can I help you? What are you doing? Blah, 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 blah. Oh, nothing. Just looking around for a gun. Just got a macaroni. Started telling him the story. Blah, 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 blah. Well, he's like, oh, that's great. Those things are cool. So you're looking for a pistol in order to insert into it. Yeah, that's pretty much it, Billy Bob. Cool. So I'm looking around, and he's still talking to me as I'm looking, and he's like, well, do you have a general idea of what you're looking for? I'm like, yeah, I'm looking for a 40, 45. I wanted to, I'm a Glock guy, so I want it to be a Glock and all that good stuff. And he's like, this is where the mood kind of changes again. Whatever you guys choose to carry is your business. This is just our opinions. Keep that in mind. We don't want nobody getting butthurt. As long as you're staying safe out there, that's all that matters. But he looks at me and he's like, well, that's a stupid choice. You should get a 9mm because of studies that we will get into in a little bit. And I was like, man, again, if you choose to carry a 9, that's your business, but I'm looking for something a little bit bigger. And, he proceeds to argue back and forth, getting a lot of misinformation. It's basically what it boils down to, which, again, we'll talk about the misinformation more specifically when we go over the two types. I was like, all right, cool. Well, got my 40, got a Glock 22. was like, man, that's your opinion, but you're wrong. Didn't want to even argue with the guy and went about my business. So, a couple months later, guns.
A couple months later, I go in to buy my first gun. And it was Billy Bob. Same guy. And I was honestly looking for 45. That's my opinion. Again, my opinion. Don't get butthurt. I think 45 has more knockdown power. But he was saying the same thing to me. Well, there was studies done that prove that the 9mm hits harder, goes faster, does all this stuff that other pistol calibers can't. Other carry calibers can't. And like, I wasn't gonna argue with them. Looked for a gun, I picked up my gun, got out.
So that's what brings us here. Thanks for anybody that's still left after that long intro. But so this is what brings us to an argument. So we're going to dive into the facts of both, and by the end of it, you should have a clearer picture and should be able to pick your gun based on facts and logic, and not some bullshit that some guy at a gun store tells you. So, getting started, 9mm is what I will be covering today. So, to get started, we're just going to talk briefly about the history and the origins of it. So, it was developed by a German man, and I'm not fluent in German, so if I mispronounce the name, let me know. But a German man named Gorda Luncher. Gord Luger. So he developed, says what year, I believe it's 1902. He developed the 9mm, which would eventually evolve into, several other different 9mm and stuff like that. But he was the one that originally developed it. And he developed it by a German manufacturer, DWM. It's in German, so I'm just DWM, which is a German weapons and manufacturer's facility for his semi-automatic pistol. For this reason, it is designed as a 9mm
Designated as a 9mm
Luger. By the Sporting Arms Ammunition Manufacturers and also by the Commission International Free Municipal for blah 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 blah. By all these different companies. Okay, so he developed it. Working for the German company, and originally, he wanted so he designed it. He designed the cartridge in his early 7.65 round, which itself was originated by the 7.65 25mm cartridge pistol. And basically what he did was he shortened the length of the cartridge case used for that pistol, and it allowed him to improve the design for trigger lock and to incorporate a smaller angled grip. and his first design evolved and was first patented in 1898. Patented in 1898 and chambered in 7.65 22 millimeter. So a little bit about that's a little bit about the origin. That's all fine and dandy and stuff like that. So that's how it all started, and it because of its design and stuff like that. What happens several years later throughout history is it is now the standard cartridge for NATO forces as well as many non-NATO countries. So, again, big deal. Everybody uses 9mm nowadays, all types of law enforcement, all types of military personnel. And it is quoted to be the world's most popular and widely used military handgun and submachine gun caliber. And in 2007, Newsweek claimed that about 60% of firearms and used by police are 9mm. And it is credited with the original 919mm, which which the sales are making semi-automatic pistols more popular than revolvers. Which, popularity, yes, that's true. Personal taste, I can see both. I like both. So it's really whatever you want to do. If you want to be John Wayne, the badass, and carry around a revolver and flick it up with your fingers, hey, at the end of the day, you got your self-protection, and that's your business. And yes, it is the most popular caliber. So, for, again, military, police, self-defense, blah, 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 blah. And one of the contributing factors is its low cost and wide acceptability contributed to the caliber's continuing popularity. So, very popular, I'm not going to say very cheap, but cheaper than some of the other cartridges. So, now that you know about it a little bit, in case you didn't know what a 9mm was, in case you're not a gun enthusiast, or in case you've been playing with, sticks and stones, bow and arrows. It's pretty popular. And just going over some of the statistics to help you get a better gauge on the situation. So for those of you that don't know, there's when you're looking at statistics, there's a thing called energy and a thing called velocity. So it helps out with bullets and stuff like that. So that's what we're going to go over right now. So as far as maximum, we're just going to go over we'll go over minimum and maximum, and then you can kind of get a picture of everything between. So starting off with the minimum, when you're looking at a 150 grain federal FMG, the velocity of it is, and I'll say it in both measuring units for anybody international out there. But the velocity for a 115 grain federal full metal jacket is a 1,180 feet per second or 360 meters per second. And as far as energy goes, it is 355 feet per pound. and it's 481 joules. So that's the minimum. That's like, bare minimum. Now, if we're talking about maximum, that would be under the 124 grain, and that velocity is going to be 1,250 feet per second, or 380 meters per second, and the energy is going to be 434 feet per pound, or 588. So, and just to give you an idea, when these statistics were taken, it was coming out of a 4.65 inch barrel. And just some other fun little facts thrown in there. The maximum pressure is 34,084 psi. For CIP, and for SAAMI, it is 35,000 psi. Of course, there's several different barrel types, depending on what gun you get, and blah, 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 blah. So, yes, that's all good. 1902 to present. One man pretty much changed the world with guns by creating the 9. Some other fun, well, not fun facts, but some other pros of the 9mm is that most gun owners would agree that 9mm, and this is just in general, okay? So just a general sense. As far as concealing, the 9mm is usually smaller and easier to conceal than a 40.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's been taking place as far as the world, because remember how I said all NATO forces use it now in most non-NATO countries? Well, they started serving the pistols from World War I present. So, as far as as far as battles go, it's been around since World War.
Yeah.
So, guns. Did I miss anything? I tried to get as much out there as I can.
I don't think you missed anything. Yeah, pretty much all of it.
Okay, great. So that's 9mm. So now you know. So now when somebody tries to tell you different, you can say no, and you can spit that back at.
Yep.
And again, if you want to continue your research, go ahead and continue your own. Because
again, we're just one source. You should always have multiple sources.
Yes, especially when you're buying a weapon that could possibly one day save your life. You want to get the best weapon for any situation. So yeah, that wraps it up for me. I'm gonna let Guns take it over, and I'll jump back on after he is done.
All right, I'm gonna be talking about the 40 Smith & Wesson. The 40 Smith & Wesson is a rimless pistol cartridge developed jointly by firearms manufacturers Smith & Wesson and Winchester. The 40 Smith & Wesson was developed from the ground up as a law enforcement cartridge designed to duplicate performance duplicate their performance and reduce the velocity of its parent cartridge, which is the 10mm auto. So that was that. And the FBI wanted this cartridge. Wanted a new cartridge to replace their old cartridge, which was the 38 Special. But they wanted to test different cartridges to make sure they got a good cartridge. And it actually came down to a 9mm versus a 45 until one person, one agent, or an agent, but yeah, one firearms training unit special, the special agent in charge, decided to test 10mm auto cartridge. And they learned that it was better, but had too much recoil for most people. Well, not most people, but some people can't handle high cartridge. But some people can't handle 45, so they go to a 9mm. Just saying.
Very good point.
Yeah.
But we'll talk more about that at the end. I forgot to bring up things.
Yeah. And they saw it worked better, but they wanted the 10mm cartridge with less recoil. So they went to Smith & Wesson to design that cartridge. That's why it's called the 40 Smith & Wesson, in case you get that. Smith & Wesson developed the cartridge.
Yeah. In case you didn't know, now you do.
And that cartridge was designed by Bob Klunk and was designed in January 17th, 1990. From then to present, it's been produced. So about 30 years. Actually, little 30 years in a few months.
We'll round it up.
We'll just
to
say
30. Yeah.
30. Okay. Now, like my co-host Creator, I'm going to go into ballistics format. In the test, the 40 Smith & Wesson was shot out of a 4-inch barrel, and the best one I found in velocity was Underwood ammo, which is 8.74 grains. Oh, my bad. It's a 134 grain bullet. And the velocity is 1,400 feet per second, or 430 meters per second. And the energy is 588 foot-pounds of energy, or 797 joules. And the lowest performance one was by Federal FMJ, which is a 165 grain bullet. The velocity of it is 1,130 feet per second, or 340 meters per second. And the energy is 468 foot-pounds of energy, or 635 joules. And so the highest and the lowest beat the 9mm in terms of energy of the test. And it was shot out of a shorter barrel. So,
hi, Creeder back. In case you forgot, I'm still alive.
yeah, he ain't got the COVID yet.
Yeah. Although I did get a head injury earlier today, but we won't talk about that. Anyway, so yes, so those are the stats for and brief history and statistics for both 9mm and a 40mm. And so, with this information, this should help you better choose what you want. Now, if we're talking about what I'm going to let Guns state which one he would choose out of these and why, and then I'll go ahead and do the same. Now, before we get into the segment, again, choose whatever one you want, as long as you have a gun to protect yourself. These are just our opinions. Stress out enough. Ain't nobody getting fought hurt.
Yeah.
So, Guns. Or actually, before we do that, let's talk about the pros and cons of it.
Yeah.
Before we do that, before we do final judgment.
Yeah.
So, I'll go ahead and go first. So I had 9mm and then you do 40. So, the advantages of a 9mm, as I've already stated, is the biggest reason, and the biggest reason I've met people getting it, is for concealment. When you conceal carry, typically 9mm is typically smaller and easier to use. And me and Guns both agree on that because I have a 9mm, he has a 40. So when it comes to concealing, or even just open carrying it, 9mm is a lot easier on your thigh. It's a lot smaller and
weight,
and and stuff like that.
Even though most compared one gun to in both calibers, like for example, a Glock and a 9mm is going to weigh less.
Yeah.
With one in the chamber and a full magazine, is going to weigh less than a Glock 40 Smith & Wesson, one in the chamber and a full magazine, because the bullet is heavier.
Yep. So, yes. And also, another big thing is supply and demand, whether it be the gun itself or the ammo for 9mm. There's more 9mm guns out there, and there's also more 9mm ammo out there than 40.
Yeah.
And that's just because of the popularity, supply and demand. You know? Yep. But because of that, they're typically a little bit cheaper with 40 because there are, again, supply and demand, less 40s out there. So that's another thing. It's easy access. There's more 9mm guns out there, and there's typically more ammunition. That's another advantage. Another one is the bullet. Because the bullet is lighter, it's typically faster. Typically. And again, that just depends on what specific company you're buying your ammo from.
Yep.
That's all it really boils down to. But typically, it is faster.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty much it for. That's all I
Yeah.
can think of, unless you have any.
No.
Okay. Now, disadvantages. I'm just going to go ahead and say the biggest disadvantage right off the bat is force of impact.
Yeah.
Because it weighs less, the force of impact, I don't care what anybody tells you. I don't care what any study says. If you don't believe us as far as joules or the energy when it comes to the force of impact, you can look it up yourselves. 9mm does not hit, I don't think anywhere close to a 40.
Yeah.
As far as hitting power. I mean, we're talking like 100 to 200 joules off.
Yeah.
So maybe in 300, depending on, again, the round. So it doesn't hit as hard. So because it doesn't hit as hard, if you're in a life or death situation, that's something to consider. Do you want something that hits harder, or do you want something that hits harder and goes faster, or do you want something that goes faster but doesn't hit as hard? And it's been proven that action is faster than reaction. So if you shoot and he doesn't go down that first bullet, well, now you're at a disadvantage because you're having to react his shot because he's reacting to your shot. He gets it. Then you go to pull the trigger on your second shot. By that time, he's already pulling his trigger.
Yeah.
Is what I'm trying to say. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's just something to think about. Definitely something to think about. And that's biggest disadvantage. Other than that, I can't really think of another disadvantage. So, yeah, that's about it. If there are more, let us know. Again, we've been drinking, so I can't think of anything off the top of my head. So I'm gonna go hand it over to Guns to give his point of view on the 40.
Okay. Pros for the 40 is, like you said, with the cons for the 9mm, the 40 is going to hit hard.
Yeah.
It's going to knock them down that first hit.
Yeah.
Or
it's just going to hit harder.
Yeah. Basically, it's going to give you better time to get off that second shot.
Yeah. It's definitely going to sting more than a 9mm bullet will. Again, at the end of the day, it's a bullet. If you're rocking a 9, that's cool.
Yeah.
But these are just facts. 40 hits harder.
Yep. Another pro is what would be another pro for you for a 40?
For me?
Yeah.
I'll tell you, both of them, and this is probably something we should have talked about earlier, but both of them can be accessible to like something like a macaroni, or if you have a license for it, you can get a Scorpion and stuff like that. Kind of. So if you're looking for something home defense and you don't want a rifle, you want or you don't want to spend the money on a rifle, I'll tell you, you can go get a 40, for a good price, or 9mm for a good price. These are both advantages for both. I just mentioned 40 because I say home defense, and if somebody's breaking into your house, I would want something with heavy hitting bullet,
Yeah.
But you go buy you something like a Scorpion or a macaroni or any sort of attachment like that, you slide it in,
Yep.
And I believe most of them only take like attachments like that, like Scorpion and macaroni and stuff like that. Most of them only take I believe 9, 40, and 45. I believe those are the 3 most common rounds associated with that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's just something else to stylize your gun collection.
Yeah.
And also another pro is, well, again, this really ties to both, but both military and law enforcement both use 9 or 40. 9 is most common, but don't let that stop you. There are still several departments and several military personnel and several FBI and stuff like that that still use a 40 and prefer a 40 over a 9.
Yeah. Well, you think the FBI invented it, might as well use it, right?
Yeah. So. And if you're looking, if you're one of those people that, how do I put it? If you're one of those people that wants to bring up the time, 40's newer.
Yeah.
40's newer. I'm gonna bring time into it. So.
Yeah.
And it was made. It was made in an age where technology was better than 9. Again, by no means is 9 a slack off.
Yeah.
But again,
9s still get good caliber to have.
Yeah. Really any caliber, as long as you can protect yourself,
Yeah.
Unless you're trying to shoot somebody with like a 22.
Yeah, I ain't
It's gonna feel like a gun.
Yeah.
Maybe a pellet. But yeah,
22 is what you give to someone who's learning how to shoot.
Yeah.
That way, when they get to bigger calibers, they're afraid of the recoil.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. Recoil. You mentioned earlier. Recoil, that's another advantage.
The recoil is more reduced than a 9mm. Not by much, of course.
Not by much, no, but
even like slightest recoil less, you can aim back down your sights quicker.
Yeah. That's all I got.
Yeah, I would say the only disadvantage in my view is the weight, because it's a heavier caliber.
Mm-hmm. I'd say weight and concealment is probably when you're comparing it to something. Now, granted, there are 40s that can be small.
Compact 40s.
Yeah, compact 40s. Yeah. But typically 9, typically smaller.
Yeah.
Typically. All right. So yeah, that's advantages and disadvantages both. Make it what you will. Again, continue to do your own research as a gun enthusiast and a gun collector, a shooter, whatever you are. Okay. I'm sure if you're watching this video, you like guns, you get what I'm saying. So yeah, just continue to learn. But the biggest thing to take away is it's just like I said. Me and guns, we're both gun enthusiasts, and we love weapons, we pro weapons and stuff like that. Damn straight, we love our guns and we love our country, and we're happy to be in a country that supports that right.
Yeah.
And there's no way in hell they're going to take it away by any means. But we're not going to get into that. If you clicked on this video, I'm sure you know what we're talking about, and I'm sure you agree with us.
Don't need an even hotter topic.
Yeah, exactly. We don't even need to talk about that, because if you clicked on this video, obviously you like your guns, and so do we. So we'll leave it at that. Without getting too political, pissed off, but I guess in Yeah, basically, we're trying to make this video so that way, in case you didn't know, now you know, and nobody can tell you different. And also do your own research, and don't believe everything that a quote unquote person behind a gun counter tells you. Little fucking 17-year-old that doesn't know his head from his ass.
Yeah.
Damn, Billy Bob.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So, I guess we're gonna move into what are our thoughts.
You can go first.
Okay. So my thoughts is like I said, I'm happy if anybody has a gun. But if I had to personally, then I would say I would honestly say both for different reasons.
Yeah.
And it's because I have both for different reasons.
Yeah.
Now, if I had to say which one is better, I would say 40 is better all around.
Yeah.
You know, the only thing 40 is not better at is concealment, but everything else 40 is just better at. Whether it's a little bit or a lot of it, depending on what you're talking about. But as far as my personal opinion, besides which one's worse or best, I think you should have both.
Yeah.
I have a 9 that I everyday carry, and then I have a 40 attached to a macaroni that I use for home defense.
Yeah.
So that's my view on it. That's just my view. Carry 9 with you because it's smaller, it's more compact. You can conceal it better. And then 40 at home. You know, if somebody wants to break into your door in the middle of the night, you give them something to break into.
Yeah.
You definitely turn the lights on.
You give them a reason to leave.
Yeah, exactly. So that's my opinion. Guns.
Yeah. I pretty much agree with everything you said. Because I feel the exact same way.
Okay.
Like, both are good for different purposes. Because both have their advantages and disadvantages.
Yeah.
But the gun I carry is a 40. And again, like you said, it's just all around better caliber.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much it. Hey, if you guys enjoyed this, leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you want for us to talk about next. But I just got to say, hopefully this was a lighthearted discussion. Hopefully nobody got butthurt. I mean, you learned something new. I personally agree with both for different reasons, and I'm not going to stop anybody who's trying to protect themselves by saying that they shouldn't buy one or the other. If you have a weapon on you, that you use to protect yourself, that's great. No matter what the caliber, unless it's again like a 22.
22 is going to bounce off.
Yeah, exactly. But no, in all seriousness, I think it's great. I just don't like the misinformation.
Yeah.
Because they're good for different things, and depending on what you personally believe, is what you should choose. You shouldn't let anybody stop you from getting a gun you want to get.
Or it's make a model of the gun or the caliber of the gun.
Exactly. Choose what's best for you at the end of the day and what could possibly save your life. That's all that matters. Don't let, again, I keep bringing up Billy Bob, but don't let a 17-year-old kid in high school that's never shot a damn gun try to tell you different.
Yeah.
So, and if you want my honest opinion, worst case scenario, go get yourself a nice 240 Bravo, and when somebody kicks open your door, you'll have a big surprise for them. Okay.
Yeah.
I heard you can buy that shit on fucking Amazon now, so go at it.
We're joking about that, by the way.
Yeah.
It's a joke.
Yeah, trust me. If I could buy a 240 Bravo to have at home,
you can't have automatic weapons in the United States.
Yeah.
Democrats.
Yeah. But apparently, you can have a flamethrower in the Philippines. I don't know if that's true or not. If anybody's watching from the Philippines, okay. I I saw on YouTube this guy from the Philippines that had a flamethrower. Let me know if that's legal or not where you're at.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean,
I'm very curious now.
in the United States, we make homemade flamethrowers with Febreze and a lighter.
Yes, but if we actually made an actual picking up and a bird and shit flamethrower, yeah, it's one of those like that meme. FBI, open up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit's not happening.
Yeah.
But if you rock with flamethrowers in the Philippines, that's pretty badass. Light a motherfucker up that kicks open your door.
Yeah.
So, again, I don't know if that's true or not. I'll tell you the story after we all. Yeah. But, okay, one more thing on a really serious note. If you're still indecisive, okay, just go buy a freaking 50 Beowulf and be done with it. Then you put holes in people. You don't have to worry about it because you pull the trigger and they drop dead because they have a big hole in their chest.
Yeah,
or they have their head freaking clean off.
Yeah, buy 50 Beowulf for 50 BMG.
Yeah.
No one's getting up from that.
Exactly. And you don't need to conceal it because nobody's going to fuck with you.
Yeah.
Trust me, you strap that thing on, you freaking slide it on your back, you walk around. I mean, if somebody fucks with you, just boom, bitch, and you're done.
Yeah.
And that's it. Cops ask you anything, be like, oh, I was so scared for my life, and this is the only weapon I had on me.
This is my open carry.
This is my open carry.
This is my everyday carry.
This is my This is my EDC. This is my EDC. I'm now invoking my Fifth Amendment. Oh shit! All right. Do you have anything else to add, bro?
No.
All right. Well, we're gonna head out. We're gonna drink a little bit. You guys have a good and blessed night. But before you go, if you really enjoyed it, like, comment, subscribe, and remember the golden rule, guys. You guys should know it by now. Come on, leave it down in the comments if you know it. Because keep your beer cold and ammo hot and loaded, and we'll see you next time.
Yep.